up, mate? How are you? I made this little sort of video tutorial to show you how to make Poulet Yassa like you ate it when you came over, because I know that you've been asking me for the recipe, and I cannot blame you because this is honestly like delicious, healthy, and on top of that it's like super simple. So how you do it is you're gonna have chicken. I'm just gonna go through the ingredients real quick. So you're gonna have chicken. I have 3 pieces of chicken, but per piece of chicken, you're gonna want 1 big onion, 1 lemon's worth of lemon juice, 1 garlic clove, and 1 hot pepper. I know it might seem like a lot to have 3 hot peppers, at least in my case, for the chicken, but with the lemon juice, it actually takes, like the acidity in the lemon juice for some reason, takes out the spice in the pepper. So you're gonna get less of spice and more of actual like pepper flavor, which is honestly great. And per piece of chicken in terms of spices, you're gonna want roughly one quarter teaspoon of ginger, 1 teaspoon of salt, a pinch of pepper, bay leaf. I'm using bay leaf for 3, so I'd say 1 bay leaf per 3 pieces of chicken. 3 tablespoons of mustard, not the bright yellow one that goes great on hot dogs, but rather this sort of like dull muted sort of mustard. It's much better for this, at least. And I'm also using some thyme. You can honestly use herbs that you think will benefit the dish, like parsley, but we had some thyme that was drying out already, and I thought it would be great to use it in this. All right, so now we can put all of these ingredients into, with the chicken, in this sort of marinade, which we're gonna leave it overnight in, so that we can cook it the next day. So, in goes the ginger. At this point, we gotta slice the onions, but every time I slice onions, bro, like, I cry. I mean, like, normally you cry, but I cry more than normal, like, profusely. And no offense, bro, but I'm not about to have you seeing me cry all over the place. Like, we're not at that level yet. So I'm gonna come back once that's done. All right, what's up? I'm back. It was painful, but the onions are done, sliced, like I said, and so we're gonna put them in here. I know it might seem like a lot of onions, and I'm honestly not a huge fan of onions myself, but in this dish, it's so good. Like, it just absorbs all of the other sauces and spices that we put. It's really good. So now, I'm gonna give this a little stir. You might want to break up some of these pieces first. All right, so now this looks well stirred, and what we're gonna do now is actually, it's pretty much done for today. We're just gonna leave it overnight to refrigerate so we can actually cook with it tomorrow. I'm not sure actually I have space in my fridge for this, so I'm gonna take a plastic bag to pour it into. But that's all for the ingredients themselves, and I'll see you tomorrow so that we can actually cook this. What's up, Nate? This is the second part to the tutorial on how to make Poulet Yassa, a continuation from yesterday. First thing you're gonna need to do is start heating up your oven to 200 degrees Celsius, which is roughly 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And so while that's heating up, what we're gonna take is a tray. Aluminum foil. We're gonna shape it to the tray, right? That way it captures all of the fats and the sauces that are gonna be coming out of the chicken as it's cooking. And plus, an added bonus is that you don't have to clean it afterwards, which is always great. Speaking of grates, now we take the grate and we put it on top. And then we set it to the side for now. You're also gonna do this while the oven is heating up. Is you're gonna take your marinade with your chicken from yesterday. You let it refrigerate overnight, and so now really not only the onions but also the chicken really have gotten the flavor of all these spices and vegetables that we put in this. And so it smells so good. It smells so good. And so what you're gonna do is you're gonna take a bowl and a strainer. You're gonna separate all the chunks. So like all the vegetables, all of the chicken from the sauce itself. So I'm gonna do that. So basically what we're gonna be doing now is we're gonna be taking the chicken, wait, I'm getting serious, roll up the sleeves, is we're gonna take the chicken, cover it in oil. This is sort of a game plan. Take the chicken, cover it in oil, put it on the grill. So we're gonna take this chicken, and you should remove all of the big chunks off of it so that they don't burn in the oven. Next, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take olive oil. It's all right to do this over the marinade, but you're just gonna put a little bit of olive oil on the chicken. So now our oven is heated up, and we're just gonna take our chicken and put it in on as close as you can to the top on the setting of broil so that it can really grill. Like in Senegal, where this dish is from, you'd normally use an outdoor charcoal grill. So if you have a grill, like, that's great. And people sometimes, if they don't have grills, they fry it. But we've already tried it here. It's way too fatty and greasy. I'd suggest just using the oven. It's simple and it tastes delicious. Like, that's how you had it when you came over. So if you want that, just put it in the oven to broil. And yeah, you're gonna put it in there for like 10, 15-ish minutes. So the first step in doing this is taking a pan and putting oil in it. I'm using olive oil, but you can use oil that's in your house, like vegetable oil. So you're gonna put enough so that it covers the entire bottom of the pan. Go like this to make sure that it gets to all the corners. She'll look relatively like this. Just a thin veneer of oil all over the bottom. And you're gonna set that to medium-high heat, relatively high heat. And then we're gonna put in the onions. You should squeeze on it to make sure that all the juice is out. All right, now that looks about ready. We've been frying it for a couple of minutes, just sort of stir frying it. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add the juice. So we're gonna take this, Maybe give it a couple more stirs to make sure that everything's, incorporated, that the juice has gone everywhere. And what we're gonna do now is we're gonna turn it down to medium heat. And we're gonna cover it and let it sit there for now. And we are going to check on our chicken because it has been about 12, 13 minutes. Already smells delicious, so let's get it out of the oven. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna flip these over. That's actually why we oiled them before, was so that we could be able to flip them over with ease. Okay, looks good. And we are gonna put these back in the oven for another 10, 15 minutes. Relatively the same amount of time that you put them in for last time. Okay, so now our chicken is ready. It took less than 10 minutes this time. And so we're gonna take it out of the oven. Looks absolutely gorgeous. Let's look at our onions. Look great, smell great. They could actually use a little water because a lot of the liquid has evaporated. So I'm gonna take some water. And I put that for mine, but you can do it how you see fit, but that's like the relative amount. And so we're gonna stir this. Really incorporate the water. And now it's time to add our chicken onto the onions and the sauce. Just gonna take these. Look at how beautiful these pieces of chicken are. It's absolutely gorgeous. We're gonna lay them on. They have a nice crust, they're crunchy, look great. The important thing to remember here is not to mix the sauce in with the chicken, but rather let it lay on the bed of the onions to minimize the contact of chicken and liquid so that the chicken retains its crust and doesn't become soggy. And so we're gonna keep it on these onions for about 20-25 more minutes on this same low heat. The chicken should be cooking for roughly 50 minutes. It already cooked 20-25 minutes in the oven, and while it might not seem like it's cooking, it's actually cooking with the steam in the pot for another 20-25 minutes. So roughly 50 minutes, 55 minutes. So our Poulet Yassa is cooking nicely, which makes it a great time for us to start on our white rice, which is what Poulet Yassa is traditionally served with. So what we're gonna do first is take a non-stick pan and your white rice. We're using jasmine rice, but you could also use basmati rice. And in either case, our family of 4 uses about 2 cups for all of us. So you're gonna measure that out. That's 1. And we have perfectly 2 cups. It's actually not planned, but perfectly 2 cups. And the golden ratio that you need to remember for rice is for every cup of rice, you need 1.5 cups of water. So if we're gonna be using 2 cups of rice, we need 3 cups of water to be able to cook it. 1, 2. That was also perfect. This is crazy. And we're gonna put it on the highest heat imaginable until it boils. We're gonna take a teaspoon of salt. Put it in there. All right, now let's mix this up a bit. Once it boils, once you see the bubbles at the top forming, we're gonna turn it down to low heat, very low heat, and let it just cook slowly while our Poulet Yassa is cooking for about 20 more minutes. Speaking of Poulet Yassa, we should probably check on this. Should not be doing this constantly because it will release a lot of the steam and the heat. You should just be doing this to, make sure that it has enough liquid. So let's do that. Smells delicious, looks delicious. It's cooking well and doesn't need more liquid. So we can actually leave that for another 20 minutes about. It's definitely boiling now. You can see bubbles at the top. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take it off of this high heat and put it to very low heat. And cover it up. Let it sit there for another 20 minutes. And they should be done at roughly the same time. Now to setting the table. Hey, I'm back. It's been 20 minutes. And just by the look of it, our rice is ready. I'm not going to take off the lid though to retain as much steam as possible, which is the best for the rice when serving. What I am going to do, however, is to turn off the temperature completely on the rice to give it a 5-minute rest break period before we serve it, which is the best way to serve the rice. In the meantime, we should check on our Poulet Yassa. Looks great, to be honest. Yeah, that's pretty much it. As you can tell, it's a really simple, healthy dish. And it's honestly